Josh doing the classic muted mic, can't hear him, coming in hot.
It's been a long day, David. I've been on a microphone on and off all day. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
It's part of the show, Josh. It's just part of the show.
It's part of. I feel like do you ever notice like FaceTime is undefeated against my dad, right? Like his FaceTime is just like, what'd you say, Josh? What I'm like, Dad, look at the camera. Look at the thing. That's where your face is. That's what Rosie sees. Rosie doesn't want to just look at your forehead, right? Just like me and the mute button. The mute button is undefeated against me. It's undefeated. Like I can't.
Great.
Good to see everybody in chat. Jerry Miller, Darren Wright, Soaksjar, 1999. It's good to be back here on a Monday. We're here every single Monday. We're here every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. David Griffin's Buffalo Bills are awesome, and my Pittsburgh Steelers are absolute garbage. Kenny Pickett may or may not be hurt. He might be out for a while. He might just be taking a rest because he's tired of getting hit, and he's tired of the offense being absolute trash. Just trash, David. Trash, I tell you.
Mike Tomlin said things are changed. He got mad. Somebody asked him, are things going to change? He's like, yeah, you bet things are going to change. Tomlin had like an angry response. I think he's going to be fired up this week. I don't know.
Finally. Yeah. Hudson Eyes are good to see you. Hey, everyone. You guys can support the show with StreamYard. What the God, I am so out of it, David. Okay. You can support the show with some super chats here on YouTube. We appreciate that. You can also go streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. I forgot to put the link in the chat, and I'm currently logging into Streamlabs. David, why don't you tell everybody about your trip to Texas with your dad? Tell everybody about maybe some golf, what you did. Did you eat anything good? Tell us about it.
We did. So my dad and I had a few things going on last week, had a memorial service to go to, but also on a lighter, more positive side, also had a nice golf trip with my dad. It was something that we try to do every year. So he's in Ohio, I'm in LA, met kind of in the center, met in Dallas, Texas, had a good time, had some good barbecue, had some good Tex-Mex food, which is a little bit different than the Mexican food you get in LA, but still pretty tasty. Everybody, I grew up in small towns. I grew up in Western New York, hence that's why I'm a Bills fan. I don't grow up in big cities, so I like Texas has a cool vibe. Everybody says hi. Yeah. People look at you when you walk by. They say, "Hey, how you doing?" "Yes, sir." That little Texas drawl they have. I kind of got good vibes from there. I know there's people say things about Texas. I don't know. I thought everybody was very friendly, very nice. So I got a good first impression from Texas. I enjoyed Texas.
Listen, I think that there's a lot of people get a lot of bad raps and all the time. If you're nice to people, most people are nice to you.
Yeah.
It's surface level stuff most of the time. But if you spread kindness, I guarantee you that kindness will come back to you. Hopefully. If it doesn't, that's just how shit works. But if you are kind, if you choose kindness, David, which you usually do, which is why I like to do this show with you, then it should be returned to you. That's why I like the chat on the show. Everybody seems to be nice. We're just talking TV. I got to shout out this chat. You guys can see I just put in the Streamlabs there. I'll poke it out throughout the show. But Scott Welsh says, I was sick this weekend, and I binge watched all of Reservation Dogs. Amazing show. And even though I lived on a res in Canada and not Oklahoma, oh, man, was it authentic to res life. And I will say, our friend Patrick Dees is coming on the show to talk a little bit about Reservation Dogs. He and I are obsessed with that show. I said last week it had one of the best bottle episodes and guest starring with an Ethan Hawke that I've ever, like, in the history of TV. Like I said last week, it was an episode that didn't feel like you were watching TV. Just felt like you were watching two people have a moment in time. And that show like did that, man. It's something. It is something. We're also going to rank our favorite TV dads. I have a list of about 40.
There are a lot of dads out there. Now wait. No, Josh, we didn't distinguish. Are these good dads or just characters that we like that happen to be dads?
Hey, that's up to you, David. That's up to you. I went some bad dads. I went some good dads. I went some dads I loved. I went some dads that none of us should be, right?
Okay.
I got some dads that tried really hard and failed. That's what Kate Van D in the chat, good to see you. The Reefism, the Breaking Bad series finale was great. What is this, 2012? Thanks. Reefism, what the hell's going on?
He's catching up. He finally watched an episode. Good job, Reefism. You caught up. It is a good finale. It's true. It is a good finale.
It is. It's a solid finale, Reefism. You know what else is pretty good? VHS players. I love them. They're great. Blockbuster. Great time. Anyway, it's good to see everybody in chat. It's good to be back here talking some TV because I had a real up and down week as far as TV goes because, and I don't know if you get this feeling, but you know when you watch a series finale, how it feels like a little piece of you was like taken away. It's like I'm never going to see another new episode.
And you're losing friends because you fall in love with the characters. You're losing a friend. Yeah.
Yeah, it really hurts. And I watched the series finale of Sex Education, and then I watched the series finale of Reservation Dogs back to back. And I think that was too many series finales with too much emotion at the end. And it hit me a little too hard, David. It hit me just a little too hard.
I hear you. Yeah. I felt that way at the end of that show that you and I both love, Rectify. That show hurt me. Thankfully, I wasn't going back to back with finales. But if you haven't seen Rectify, if you have AMC Plus, I believe you can stream it there. It's a very powerful, very moving show. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen, but not one that's talked about. You know, it's not up there with the Mad Men's and the Game of Thrones, but it's definitely worth checking out. Rectify, and that will break you, but in a good way. In a good way.
It's amazing that show when it first came out was on Sundance Channel, which
I know, yeah, back then was nothing.
Nothing.
Still really isn't.
It had two shows, actually three shows that I think I watched. One was Rectify. Two was Red Road with Jason Momoa. Did you watch that show?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
That show was actually fantastic. It was 2 seasons. It was about Native Americans in New Jersey and like a corrupt paint plant that poisoned the water in this town. And then the other one was the one with Maggie Gyllenhaal where she played like a British spy.
That was good. I like that one. Accent. We talked about that. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. What? I feel like that.
It was Tobias Menzies. Tobias Menzies was in there too.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of that one.
It kind of felt like it was shot and it felt similar to The Night Manager.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking
it had
about?
that same.
Yeah.
The Honorable Woman.
The Honorable Woman.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it was spelled like the English spell it with the OU. Honorable woman.
Yeah, right? it's like how Neighbors is spelled differently in the UK.
Yes.
Too. Neighbors.
Yeah.
Speaking of the UK, Josh,
Talk to me, David.
Brothers and sisters, the Buffalo Bills are traveling to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to take on the resident London team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who will be there for their second week in a row. They're just staying there. They have the advantage. They're all adjusted, hanging out, going to the pubs, having fish and chips. Get some curry. They're ready to go. So Buffalo is going to. So if you want to watch the Bills, I mean, if you just want to see what American football is all about, you're like, David, what are you talking about? This stuff's garbage. Go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and watch the game. Support the Bills.
Support the Bills, not the Jags.
Not the Jags. No.
Well, you'll be waking up at a cool 6 a.m. to watch.
Yes. I will.
The Bills
yes.
play.
Yes.
A little.
Yes.
You know, I stayed up most of the night on Thursday night, aka into Friday morning. Most of the night Friday into Saturday morning, and a lot of the night Saturday into Sunday morning for the Ryder Cup. Now,
was it worth it?
David, if we're talking about series finale, the lead up to this was like I waited 2 years. I waited 2 years to get married. That 2 years, everybody's talking about it. Oh, who's going to get married? Are you going to get married? Marriage is going to happen. And then I show up and my wife doesn't show up at the altar. Right. That's how I felt about the first night of the Ryder Cup. Our U.S. team, we smoked them in Wisconsin. We go to Europe and I mean, the Bills, it's like you go to see the Bills play the Jags and the Bills are down 35-0 in the first quarter.
The worst.
Golly. And it's not like I don't like Europe. I love Europe. I love Italy. I love England. I want to live in Scotland for a time in my life. I want to go live in Italy. I want to go live in Spain. Like I would love to just do that for a while. So me getting mad at Europe isn't the thing. What I was mad at was that the U.S. didn't even show up. It wasn't even competitive, David, until the last day.
And I wasn't a fan of Zach Johnson saying like, well, you know, there's a bit of something going through the team, a bit of a cold and some congestion. I'm like, really? Michael Jordan basically gets
Flu
carried off
game.
the basketball court, the flu game, to win a game,
Yes.
and you're going to blame it on, oh, the guys have a little congestion and they're sick. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's not a good look.
I mean, how many times did you hear like Jerry Seinfeld or Courtney Cox or somebody on a sitcom? Clearly, when they were shooting, they had a cold. But you know what, David? They brought it because they had TV to deliver to people. And here we are. We're just sitting around. And I'll tell you what, it's hot out there. You just got to stay hydrated. You're walking. But golf, as we know, it's not like the most physically exerting sport. As you get older, do you get more and more sore? Yeah. Sure.
But I mean, what is Rory? Rory is what, 32, 33? Isn't he like the old man in the group? One of the old. Like is he older than that?
4.
Oh, still young.
Well, still young. Still young. Solskjaer 1999. Ludwig Aubert, as I think they call it. The American guys were like Aberg. I think his name is Ludwig Aubert. Will be number 1 in 24 months. Bob Bubka. Ludwig Aubert is sick. He's awesome.
And he went to a Big 12 school. Didn't he play in the States? Texas Tech. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Okay. Ludwig Aubert is enormous. If you thought Brooks Koepka was big, did you see the picture of Ludwig Aubert next to him? He is, dude, it's like putting TJ Watt next to me. It was two different people, two very different people.
Big guy. Oh, sorry, Josh. I saw somebody ask me. Jonathan Peck asked, quick question, David. Have you ever in your lifetime jumped through a table in a parking lot? Which is a tradition that a lot of Bills fans, if you go on Instagram, there's some cute videos of dads taking their babies and not throwing them, but lightly putting them on a table to break it, to, baptize them in the ways of the buffalo. I have never done that. I know I would hurt myself. Something bad would happen. So I let other more diehard fans do that.
My brother and I talk about it often, the fact that social media didn't come around until I was out of college, like well out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Had, Barstool Sports and like trying to get on the internet or go viral was in college, David, I might not be here. I might not be here.
You would have been trying to make some crazy videos to do what you're saying. Some TikTok videos.
100%. 100%. And, the jumping through the tables thing, I never really understood it. But I have jumped through a table before. In college, it was before people were doing it. I was like, just jump through this.
Yeah, I don't even think that's necessarily Buffalo exclusive, because I grew up going to Bills games as a kid, and that's not, I was little, but that's not something I remember, people jumping through tables, but I don't know.
I don't know. But the baby videos where they lay them down nicely.
It's very cute. They're very cute, yes.
Tim Lachinsky, hello, everybody. Hope you all had a great day so far. Thanks, Tim. I think we have. I hope we have. Troy said, this is good. My mom got free tickets through a friend for the Ryder Cup when it was in Massachusetts. My dad wouldn't let me miss school to go 20 plus years later, and it's one of his biggest regrets. Yeah, that was the one at Brookline when Justin Leonard hit that putt at the end for us to win 14.5, 13.5. That was a great Ryder Cup. Troy, I'm sorry. You should tell your mom that you are mad every single day. You really should. No, I'm kidding. Don't say it. Anyway, that was a lot of my TV watching. Now, however, because the broadcast was so terrible and full of commercials, the entire broadcast was just commercials with golf.
It was all Derek. If I see Derek Jeter drive home, I was like, oh my gosh, Derek Jeter, I have a private jet. Oh, there's a storm. Guess I better get my $100,000 Jeep Wagoneer and drive. Where are there wolves? He lives in Miami. Where's the wolf? He's like in some wooded area. Where's he coming from? And he's got this beautiful wife with his kids and this mansion. It's like, Derek Jeter, life's so hard. If I see Derek Jeter one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do. No more Derek Jeter. No more Jeep Wagoneer commercial. Sorry, Josh. Sorry,
no, I'm with you. And if I saw that stupid commercial with Tony Finau and Annika Sorenstam one more time, I was going to lose it.
Yeah.
Good God. They played more golf shots than we saw with the actual golfers. I'm with you. All the commercials. But David, because I was staying up so late and I was watching the Ryder Cup, I was able to really catch up on a lot of TV. That's how I was able to binge the entire last season of Sex Education, which we will get into in a little bit.
Yes.
MKS Songbird said, saw some sad news that Pat Pespis from Telemarketers has been missing since Friday. Oh no. The Patrick J. Pespis he was one of the personalities in that Telemarketers documentary on HBO Max that still need to finish, but he's awesome. He's a very interesting character. He's had real bad addiction problems. So
I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's get into some TV news, David. Let's do that. First up, let me look here. First up, David. There's going to be a Netflix price hike. Dude, I'm telling you, as soon as I saw that the writer strike was going to end and they got what they got, and we know the actor strike is going to end and they're going to get what they want, you know that is going to get pushed onto us, on the consumer.
It is. Yeah, we already got a report, which probably a lot of people here aren't that concerned about, but Discovery Plus also announced that they're going to raise their prices. Yeah. If you are a hardcore HGTV Food Network fan like I am and my wife, and you have HBO Max, cancel Discovery Plus because it's also on HBO Max. Some people don't know that or aren't aware of that. Josh, I need to look up. I just want to look at this really quick because Netflix is one of the most expensive streaming. So let me just see my plan details here. Okay. So the rates are do you have the Ultra plan?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't usually get Ultra, but it just kept upgrading and I keep paying for it.
This is what I'm a little annoyed. I've always been annoyed with Netflix about. One, they're very expensive. It's $20 a month. And now that's if you want to watch 4K. They charge you for 4K. And Prime Video doesn't charge you for 4K. Apple doesn't charge for 4K. I mean, all TVs, you can't buy a 1080p TV. You go out there, you can get a 4K TV for like $150, $200. Right. And they're charging you to watch 4K TV. I'm paying $19.99 US a month, and they're going to raise it. Now, I'm paying it. David, if you don't want to pay it, cancel. I know. I'm just saying it just bothers me that they charge you extra for 4K. Or Prime Video, you get Amazon Prime, all that stuff, 4K, you get shipping, you get, I don't know. I just don't, Netflix is a little expensive compared to even Max, even HBO Max. It's like, I don't know.
Okay. Jeremy Miller saying it, and we've been saying it since the first iteration of TV Talk, that eventually the streaming services are going to get so expensive that the fact that you cut your cable, you're paying more.
It's true.
You're paying more. It's
true.
And that was basically their goal all along. It sucks. It really does, because I'm not going to get rid of Netflix. I'm not going to get rid of Amazon Prime.
No.
I mean, I keep getting Apple TV free, I think, because of my iPhone.
I think every time you buy a new Apple product, you get it for a year. I think.
Yeah. And Soakstar 1999 not making a totally wrong point that like Netflix is that's what the new name should be. Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix is no longer worth that. I can't totally disagree. There are really good shows, and then there's a lot of just meh.
It's not the streamer I watch the most. I mean, I think I watch the most. You and I, Josh, we watch so much sports. It's probably I watch YouTube TV, my cable. That's my cable provider, YouTube TV. Right? But I would say Max, HGTV. Yeah, I feel like of all the, and then Hulu. I know I watch a lot of the food. I know we watch a lot of food and home. Watch a lot of Property Brothers. But I feel like Netflix is the one I might use least. Maybe I should cancel. I don't know. What am I watching right now? I don't even know what I'm watching on Netflix. See, that's a problem. When you're paying $20 a month, you don't even know what you're watching. I need to reevaluate what I'm watching. Oh, there's a new movie called Reptile with Justin Timberlake and Benicio del Toro.
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a movie. It's a Netflix original movie. Does anybody watch that? That looks good. I like Benicio. I like JT.
I saw. We scrolled through and Amanda was like, I don't know. So I might have to watch that one on my own.
All right. Okay.
Not Rick Zamora says IGN said that Hulu was the top streaming service in 2023. Your thoughts? It's Hulu has great programming, and I would say the reason why Hulu has great programming is because FX and Hulu are the same thing.
Right there. That's it. It. I mean, if you think of the best shows on Hulu, they're FX. I know it's all one company now, but it's FX. Yeah, that's the reason.
Jonathan Peck says, speaking of sports, the Minnesota Twins broke their 18-game playoff curse today, except he wrote cruise. So I think now. So does that mean they haven't won
18 game or 18 year?
No, 18. They haven't won a playoff game in 18. Yeah. They haven't won a game in 18 games in the playoffs, which is.
Tonight's the wild card, right? It's the wild card tonight. Okay.
The first game was the Rays and somebody, and
right.
I pay about as much attention to baseball as a Pittsburgh Pirates fan should, because each year I'm slapped in the face with a big giant fish. Just here's a river catfish from the Allegheny right outside the stadium. You want to watch a winning baseball team? How about for the first month we'll try, and then we'll be out of the playoffs by July. Whack. God. And now the Steelers stink. Whack. The Penguins are old. Whack. The Americans get crushed in the Ryder Cup. Whack. And Penn State is really good, but
Penn State's good.
But we're going to lose to Ohio State or Michigan or both. The shoe's going to fall. It happens every year, David. We don't show up for the big games. It doesn't happen.
It's rough out there.
It's hard out here for a pimp, and even a guy that isn't a pimp. Me. I'm not a pimp, David. Okay.
I know. I hope I know that, Josh. I hope
yeah. Jonathan Peck says Texas Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Rays 4-0 in Game 1. Wow, how about that?
Very good.
You would like to think you know a lot about your friend and that he is not, in fact, a pimp.
I mean, far be it for me to accuse somebody of trying to make a living for his family. I mean, Josh, that's what you need to do to put food on the table. I mean, I still love you. Still love you, Josh.
Yep, my only fan. It's my only. I just pimp myself. I got an OnlyFans. Dick. Red is not a flavor. What do you think about CJ Stroud against your Steelers, Josh? Yeah, he was awesome. We stunk. He's
Speaking
good.
of Ohio State. Yeah.
He's good. He's good.
He is good.
MK Songbird says Hulu has been delivering some quality Korean series recently as well, between Revenant, Moving, and The Worst of Evil. Okay. Are these anime or are these like live action Korean shows? I can't say I've really watched a Korean show outside of Squid Game.
Hulu also had the movie. Talk TV. This is a movie though, but it was a Hulu exclusive. Was that movie, the Predator movie, Prey? That was good.
Oh,
that was real good.
That movie was sick.
And they're going to do a sequel. They've already greenlit a sequel, so we're going to get another Prey 2, whatever they're going to call it. So that's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
That was really good.
Yeah. I'll be honest, MKS Songbird. I've never gotten into the Korean. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I can only watch like every so often a series with subtitles, and I most definitely cannot watch dubbed shows. I can't do it. I can't watch dubbed shows. I do not want to see English being dubbed over some weird.
I'd rather hear the original language with subtitles. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's something. It is something. Okay. Only Murders in the Building got a second series, getting a fourth season, David.
Yeah.
Your show.
I like the show. It's fun. We got Paul Rudd this season. I mean, it's fun. It's just, I don't know if I need. I thought this was it. I for some reason, there was something in my head saying this is the final season. I thought it was, but I guess not. They're going to keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy watch. It makes me laugh. The season was a little disjointed, and some of the comedy was a little off. There was something about someone in the comments a few weeks ago said, David, like, what's up with Only Murders in the Building? I don't know. There's something up with it. I don't know. This season wasn't as good as previous seasons. The first season was the best. Season was the best.
Got it. We only watched the first season. That's
okay. Yeah.
Who do you think they're like starting to kind of buy into these characters and they're getting like a little too charactery?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. They're trying to give everybody like, everybody has like a romantic interest, their love life. Like I kind of just, even this season kind of, they kind of critique themselves saying like, hey, remember when it was just us and it was just us three and we were solving crimes. And it's like, I like that. And like the backstory with everybody and their side characters, their other lives, I don't care about as much. So I don't know. It's still good. I'll still watch season 4. I'm still in.
So you are still going to watch season 4?
I'll watch season 4, but Josh, I wouldn't say you need to catch up, but I'll watch season 4.
Troy with a really good comment here, David. The first season was the best. Sounds like a podcast. You're not wrong. That
is good.
Pretty
Troy.
good.
Troy also had that hot take. He came in hot the other day. Remember we were trying to describe what Warrior was, and I don't think he had ever even seen Warrior, and he came in with this thing about like Troy. You'd have to like quote yourself again, but you had a very good synopsis for Warrior, which was perfect.
It was what it was like. It was something about ninjas and
ninjas. It was like gangster reference, like
was it Peaky? It was Peaky
Blinders in
Ninja
the West.
Peaky Blinders in the West.
Yeah,
in San Francisco.
Which is the perfect description. Yeah, that's it.
I still need to watch. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, David. I want to finish. I got to catch up on the gold. Okay, Amanda and I don't think we've really watched anything together since Drops of God. So it's been a couple weeks.
So are you watching the gold on your own then?
Yeah, I'm watching the Golden Man. I don't think Amanda would like that one. A lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
she likes it. She likes a good crime show, but it's got to be really simple. Like they solved it show. Your procedural murder at the beginning, figure it out in the middle, convict him at the end.
Yeah, that's not the gold. Yeah, definitely not.
It's definitely not. Then we got the early Loki reviews. Have you watched any of Loki? Have you been?
I have not seen any screeners, not been privy to screeners. I do still have some screener access, but not to Disney at the moment, which is fine. I'm not in that business anymore, so it's okay. No hard feelings, Disney. Love you, love Disney.
Love Disney. You can't say anything wrong. Yeah.
No bad blood. But the reviews are a little mixed right now, which is interesting. I'm curious because that's of all the Marvel shows, that's probably one of my favorites. That was there it is, West Coast Kung Fu Peaky Blinders. Thank you, Troy. That's
well done, Troy.
That is Warrior on HBO Max. But yeah, the reviews are a bit mixed. IGN gave it a 5 out of 10, which is pretty low.
Whoa!
Usually IGN, again, I worked there for 5 years. On TV reviews, unless the show's we just really don't think it's very good or just we don't really go that low. So I'm surprised, but the reviews seem mixed. Seems like the season's muddled. It doesn't have quite the same magic that season 1. That's just the early reviews. We'll all find out.
What did we just say, David? What did we just say? First season was the best.
First season was the best. There you go. Thank you, Troy, for the podcast idea. We'll have to rename the show. That's
it. Yeah. Maybe a segment on here called First Season Was the Best, and we argue as to why the first season was the best.
Which show has a top 10 best first seasons?
And then
maybe next week.
Oh.
Top 10 best first seasons?
Yes. I like that.
But that would exclude miniseries then. We can't do miniseries.
No.
That's just one. So let's do extra. Okay, so I went up. But anyway, so we'll see. Loki, I'll combine this, Josh, with the big Thursday announcement. Thursday is a very good day for television fans. We have Loki on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And Our Flag Means Death season 2.
Woo.
So it's very exciting Thursday. Mixed reviews aside, I'm excited to watch Loki season 2 because I love the characters.
Jerry Miller says 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. Seems like the show is doing a ton of Doctor Who stuff. They screened 4 episodes for critics.
Yes, they did. That's true.
So here's the thing. I liked Loki, but I like Tom Hiddleston. I like the character. I liked the first season of Loki. I thought it was low-key pretty good. I like that alligator and when they were in the multi
alligator Loki. Yeah.
But my thoughts on timelines and how I don't understand it and I don't really get it. And so for me, the first season is a 7 out of 10, maybe just because of me. Right. But every superhero show and every superhero movie ends the same. They're very formulaic. It's, you tuned in because you were a giant Iron Man fan. And then you tuned in, because you wanted to see Ant-Man and you want to see how do they do it? They always do it. They get in trouble at the beginning. It looks like they're going to lose and then they win in a big action scene at the end. And then there's a post credits where Samuel L. Jackson shows up. Same thing as sort of Loki, I guess, except Loki ended and they kind of messed it all up. And so I guess I'm looking forward, but it's been a minute since I've seen it. I guess I'm looking forward to it. But then also, as soon as they start just throwing in, that's why I never really watched Doctor Who. I also didn't know what Doctor Who was until I was 25 years old. But when somebody describes Doctor Who to me, I'm like, nah, that's not going to be for me, And even I'll poke as many plot holes as you want in The Flash, Back to the Future. Although Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 are awesome movies, especially 3. 3 is underrated. I don't care what you say. I love that stupid movie. It is terrible. It's just like how bad Godfather 3 is and how bad Rocky 5 is. I'm still entertained by those movies. Okay. Although Rocky 5 is pretty trash.
Yeah. Rocky 5 is not. Yeah.
I just don't care about time and time travel and timelines and other places where time exists and all these other Earths and on these timelines. It just doesn't do it for me. When you're talking about all these Spider Verses and these timelines and here's a hot take, David. Avengers Endgame sucked. I'm just saying it straight up. That movie wasn't good. And I'll tell you for one reason why it wasn't good is because all of a sudden there's Tony Stark sitting around his house and he's drawing his drawing of his little thingy majiggy. And he's like, oh, I figured it out. Oh, did you? Oh, you figured out fucking time travel, Tony Stark. Oh, okay. Here we go. We're going to go back in time. We're going to stop the thing. We got to do this. We got to quantum me. Are you out of your fucking mind? You know how dumb that is? All of a sudden, it's like, David, one day, it's like, oh, figured it out. Figured out time travel. Better get Jarvis in there with his little thingy majiggy, and we're gonna do it. And they're like, oh, Ant-Man got stuck in his little world. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's dumb. It's just dumb. Now, what I will say about Avengers Endgame and all these timelines and everything is that the action sequence at the end of time, when Iron Man did die, I was like, okay, that's very sad. That's very sad. And then
it's very sad.
Captain America went and he's old again, and he gets to go see his girlfriend, and it doesn't. It's stupid. It's really dumb.
Oh no! I enjoyed the Avengers Endgame.
Okay,
I enjoyed that.
David, that's not taking anything away from the fact that I didn't enjoy like the fight stuff. I'm like, this is cool. Pow, pow, pow. We're gonna fight this guy. Pow, pow, pow. We're gonna fight this guy. Krah, krah, krah. Oh, Captain America caught the Thor hammer. Oh, all right, goes crazy. I totally forgot that you like had to be worthy to hold the hammer. I was like, why is everybody freaking out? And like, oh, you gotta be worthy to hold the hammer. I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Well, Josh, there was also excuse me, Josh, but there was also a post-credit scene where it was Thor and all the guys they're at a party. And they're playing a game like, let's see who can pick up the hammer. And they all try to pick up the hammer. And then Thor's just laughing because no one can. So Captain goes up and it kind of starts shaking a little bit. Like it vibrates. Like he could move it. And then Thor, like you see him like he gets scared, but then it doesn't happen. And then that's why they also freaked out because it was kind of playing off that one too.
Okay. Bruce Combasa says Josh Macuga talks about being nice and suddenly trashes everything that's time related. Wow. Yes. Yeah, okay. I can be nice to every person that you want to. I am kind to everybody, but I do have a problem with timelines because. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was going to make a recommendation, Josh. Have you seen the excellent film, The Time Machine with Guy Pearce?
No.
Ooh, I want to call it an excellent film, but it's very easy to follow. It's not super complicated. It's based off H.G. Wells, I think.
Okay,
I'm getting that right. It's pretty good. I like that one. It's one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Troy says that is the hottest Avengers take I've ever heard, but it also might be the most accurate. And then Troy comes in. All right, but Cap catching Mjolnir is my favorite moment across the whole series. Ha ha. I'm not saying it's not cool when he catches it. Okay,
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I'm saying it didn't like move me because I didn't really get it at first, and I'm like, oh yeah, Captain America's worth it. But if you know Chris Evans, he's a fucking jackass. Okay, excuse my language. Okay. But I'm gonna go back to Bruce Combas's his statement is I am here to entertain, okay? And sometimes, like we learned in Sex Education, the final season, is you can be nice to everybody all the time, but sometimes you just gotta burst. You just gotta say some bad shit to get off your place. I'm not ruining anybody's life. I'm not hurting anybody. All I'm saying is that time travel movies, when the timeline gets too confusing, sucks. It sucks. I hate it. I hate them all. But that pig in Spider-Man, that was the Spider Pig that was Nicolas Cage. That was pretty cute. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Josh's rants are epic. Another epic rant from Josh Macuga. It's okay.
Sorry. Solskjaer 1999. Amen, space. Josh. It's a safe space. Bruce Combas's True Time Crimes is probably the best time travel related movie. Do we know Time Crimes? I never heard of
2007. I don't know these people. This is I don't know where this is. It's a Spanish film.
Okay. No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Huh.
Red is not a flavor. Josh, do you hate Back to the Future? No, I don't hate Back to the Future. Do you know why I don't hate Back to the Future? Because it has one timeline. He goes back, he gets his parents back together, and he comes back.
Well, remember in 2, there's multiple. He splits.
I know. And 2 might be my least favorite one, except for the hoverboard parts. The hoverboard, the only reason you like it, David, and you know it.
Why?
You know it. Hoverboards. That's the only reason you like it, and you know it.
But I also love Biff is like Donald Trump, basically. That was pretty funny. He basically turns into Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's Trump Tower. And then I love a good stupid Western in Back to the Future 3. It is really dumb. It's dumb, but it's amazing. Okay. Yeah. And you know why it's amazing? It's because it's one stupid timeline. Okay. Right. He went back to save Doc. Okay. Are you Marty McFly? We've been waiting for 8 years to give you this. Like, that's a cool scene. Okay, that I can get behind. You know what I can't get behind? Every time stupid Barry Allen went back in time on that stupid Flash show on the CW to either save Iris's dad, his parents, his mom, the other Flash, then he just started messing everything up. He's an idiot. And so is Ezra Miller's Flash. He's stupid. And if we didn't get Michael Keaton, that movie would have sucked.
Thanks. Josh on the superhero and Star Wars and Marvel today. He's going at it right now. He's just going at it.
Let's bring on our friend Patrick Dees to talk about shows that don't have timelines, but they do have Ethan Hawke. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Dees.
What is up, gentlemen? How are you? I also want to make, I think the highly underrated in Back to the Future 2 is the hologram shark. I'm still waiting for that. Like, it's hoverboard 1 and then 1A is the hologram shark.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And the self-zipping shoes. We do need those.
Those shoes.
Shoes.
Incredible.
And every time like something happens in Back to the Future 2 and they like went back, like when the Miami Marlins or the Florida Marlins won the World Series, and like that happened in the almanac that he stole. Like, holy shit. Okay. The Simpsons, they did it again. Right. That being said, it's
clock, right?
It's yes. Holy moly. Well, we just went on a rant. We went on a little bit of a rant about superheroes because we were talking about Loki and how I hate timelines, but I think I like that show and I'm excited for it. But I also know I'll get through, I'll like start fighting through it, and then they'll start throwing too many thought-provoking things at me, and I will not know what to do.
I am cautiously optimistic about it. I don't know if you guys saw the early reviews today, but they were pretty tepid. I was like, oh no. I was so excited. Jonathan Majors is honestly a little problematic as we know, but like I think before all of the problem stuff, I think he was like the heir apparent to like capital M, capital S movie star. Like I think the guy's a force of nature, and I hope he ends up being somebody we can root for in this second season.
I just hope they bring back the alligator.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all you care about, the alligator.
The alligator and hoverboards. That stuff writes itself.
Listen, I'm a simple guy with simple taste. Give me alligators and hoverboards, and you got me for a lifetime. You give me Barry Allen in a coffee shop, I'm out.
He hates his metabolism, David. That's what he hates. It's Barry Allen's metabolism.
I'm also jealous of that, but I enjoy watching it.
So Patrick, David has yet to watch past season 1 of Res Dogs.
Oh,
okay. Which is why I wanted to bring you on, because I've been talking about this show for weeks now.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how emotional I was over like the last maybe 5 episodes, starting at the one when you went back in time to when the parents were kids.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And then this whole season just so special. And the fact that out of nowhere, they're just like, here's Ethan Hawke for an episode. And you're like, what?
Well, I want to unpack that a little bit, David. Why did you, what was the off ramp? Like, what was the, like, hey, I'm unsubscribing to this, or was it that you just never jump back on? Like, what was the impetus to stop?
It was the latter. It was just one of those things. I think at the time I would have been working for IGN, so I watched so much stuff. So I'll dip in and dip out, and some shows I stick with. And that was one of those shows I watched, like I think the first 2 or 3 episodes. Really enjoyed it, but just never dip back in. But all I've heard is glowing things. I want to get back into it, but nothing turned me off or anything about it. I just never dipped back into it.
It almost feels like that show sometimes, Dees, right? It's like not written. It's
that's
just
interesting.
It just like is, and it's perfect.
Oh, can I ask you? Sorry, I just want to ask you all a quick question. I saw that. I mean, all the hype and the award season this year is Lily Gladstone is probably going to win Best Actress. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? None of the big Oscar movies really come out yet, but Lily Gladstone, I heard she's in Reservation Dogs.
Res Dogs.
You know what I'm talking about? She's going to be in the movie with Leo, Martin Scorsese's new picture, Killers of the Flower Moon. And she's basically being hailed as like, I
think she plays one of the moms, right?
Or is she Dear Lady?
No, she's not Dear Lady.
No, I don't know.
No.
I was just curious I know she's not like the most popular actress, but I know she has a lot of buzz coming out with this Killers of the Flower Moon movie coming out in October. She plays the co-lead with Leo.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't think that's Killers of the Flower Moon.
I think is she in Time Crimes? Because that's what I really want to know.
Time Crimes? Yeah, what is Time? Yeah, I need to watch Time Crimes. I'm adding that to my watch. I need to find this. Yeah,
Time Crimes. We're branching off a new podcast called The First Season Was the Best, D's, and it's just like shows that we love that only had good first seasons, and the rest of the show is pretty good, but it can't equal the first season. You know what I mean?
Sorry, Josh, and sorry to derail you guys. Just so you guys know, I had to look it up. She plays Hawk T. Jackson in seasons 2 and seasons 3 of if that character means anything to you.
Yeah, I think she was like a very side character.
Okay.
She might have been one of like the aunties, I think.
Yes.
Oh, you know who she plays, Deez? She plays the auntie that Lily Jack goes to see in jail.
Oh, and destroys. Oh my God, you're totally
so
right.
good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think that's what that show does so well, David. I would highly encourage you to go back and watch it, because I think it's like it's TV where it can make a scene where two people talking is absolutely riveting. Yeah. Nothing is happening and it feels transcendently real. And it's like it's a show that underscores that nobody is 100% anything. Do you know what I mean? They can be this and that. And it's a story of the and it's a story that, like, I think it's interesting too, because for me, it was such a fascinating look into life on a reservation. It's a paradigm. It's a box that I don't have any visibility into. I don't know what life is there. And it feels so authentic to the sense that, like, so much of culture is youth obsessed. And this shows this generational arc that, like, look, this Sterling Harjo loves these kids, but also calls them shit asses every 15 minutes. Like, and the elders were kids. I
love that term, by the way.
I love it too.
Shit ass is so funny. You know, shit asses doing your shit ass stuff. Yeah.
And then they have this episode, Josh doesn't wreck anything, where they go back and they show the elders as kids, and the elders that nobody changes. You just are. Yeah. And I think that's so refreshing, because I think we get really hung up on arc and this, like, just this change is that, like, what's important is community and this looking forward and back. I think it's just wildly refreshing television, and in a world that I had no visibility and I never knew that I needed it, but it was just riveting, man. Like, incredible. I really hope they do more.
These kids that, like, were cast for the first time in these shows that weren't actors or actresses. There's some crossover in Dark Winds with some of the actors, especially the sheriff in Dark Winds is the sheriff in Res Dogs. And it's again, like Patrick said, I know nothing about Native American reservations. I mean, the only thing I know is from TVs and movies, and so, or driving through in, like, the Grand Canyon, but that's really about it. And for us to kind of get a look at it, and them not pulling any punches, like, it's sexy, right?
That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna say. Like, it doesn't shy away from that. It's like warts and all. It's like, by the way, this is pretty fucked up. The way, excuse me, can I swear on this show?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. Because that's pretty
fucked up. We're all about Avengers Endgame.
The way we eat, right? Like that. Like there's this meta commentary the entire time about how all of the trash and why they all have there's high instances of diabetes. Like, I feel like it's just this really candid look, and it's you take it in its totality. You take everything in its totality, not only reservation and culture, but also, again, youth and people, and they are multiple things. And it's just really something special.
There's a line that will stick with me. And I mean, a lot of these episodes, they finally, in season 3, and I don't want to say finally, but it took them a while, obviously, to get into all of the schools and, like, the church schools that they were sent to be, like, beaten out of their Native American ways, right? Wow. And there's going to be a movie coming out. I don't know when. It might even be a docu-series about the Canadian schools that tried to beat them out of there, and, like, all these priests and nuns that destroyed these kids and killed them. And I mean, it's really, really, really sad and really terrible. Like, I mean, on another level of bad. And I think that Killers of the Flower Moon is going to get into that a little bit too, because it's at the beginning of the death of the Osage people in Oklahoma, which are some of the clans that eventually end up in O'Kern, where this reservation is. Okay, in Res Dogs. Scott Welch said the residential schools. Yeah. And
just an unflinching look. And I love the way that like, again, like, one of these things that they just take for granted. It just is. It's not sensationalized in any way. There are just supernatural occurrences. People just see spirits. They don't make a big deal about it.
I remember that there was a guy riding a horse in the first couple episodes. And
it expands that. And it's just like, look, that's just part of our, we see aliens. This is just a part of life. It's not sensationalized. Or it's just, just as sure as I ate a metric ton of fry bread, I also saw spirits today. And that's just part of my day. And it's fascinating. It's just, again, wildly original. I mean, you were talking about Marvel and kind of this formulaic approach. It's just diametrically different than anything that you're seeing. It's so refreshing. What a palate cleanser.
So the scene and the line, and when they get to LA finally, David, I said this on the show before, and Deez and I talked about when they finally get to LA, okay, and they stop in that diner in, like, Echo Park, right? It's not in a nice part of town. And they sit down and they're looking at the menu and they're sitting there and the waitress comes over and she's like, where are you from? And she's like, we're from the res. She's like, what's the res? She's like, it's kind of a place with like despair and nothing going on. She's like, I feel like I'm from the res too. Such an LA response. It's just like this girl who like didn't book a job on a soap opera, like depressed, and is like, I came out here being an actress, and here I am, a waiter and a waitress. It's so perfect. It's just so LA, and it's that show. And, oh my god, it's something special. And you know, it ended perfectly. The second to last episode when Laura meets her dad, who's, you know, spoiler alert, is Ethan Hawke, and God, like that show, I was sobbing, and Amanda's like, "What is it?" I was like, "Red Dogs." It just gets me.
Again, just two people talk. Like honestly, David, the entire episode is just two people talk. A mother or a daughter reunited with her estranged father, and it's all it is. It's all like literally, it's 30 minutes of that, and like trying to navigate that really emotionally complex minefield. It's awesome. And then Josh, what I read about this earlier too was that Laura Dan, the girl that plays Laura Dan, and I should know her name, incredible actress, co-wrote that because Sterling Harjo is now giving all these kids an opportunity to get behind the camera and write and chase other, like his coaching tree, if you will, is going to be incredible because they're all going to leave and go do their own things. And it's one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. And she's a first-time writer and she gets to write for Ethan Hawke. Are you kidding me?
Unreal.
So cool.
But it's cool, and not to get too like,
Kay Devery Jacobs is her name, is the actress's name.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's cool too, because I think a lot of the Native American focus shows we've seen over the years, and film, mostly films for that matter, have been, yes, they show you Native American culture, but there's always a big, you know, Caucasian presence. You know, you Last of the Mohicans, you have Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner. It's like the natives aren't the star. You know, you get Yellowstone, you get a little, but it's still Kevin Costner overshadowed. He's just such a big overshadow. So I'm glad Reservation Dogs, it sounds like, you know,
and I feel like,
you know, these other movies coming out soon are going to represent Native American culture more from their point of view, as opposed to like what the Europeans thought of them.
Well said, Dave. Well said. Yeah. And I think, you know, the other thing that they do a lot in TV is every time they do a Native American storyline, it's about an Indian casino. It's about a casino. Yeah. Like Banshee, it's about a casino. Yellowstone, it's about a casino. What was the other show where they had it's like 4 different shows, and it's all about like corrupt Native Americans running casinos. And this was the show. It's like, hey, this is the res. This is what we do. Yeah. Like, you know, one of my favorite episodes was when the moms went to that conference or whatever. Like Native Americans just getting together and getting high and having sex, and it's just like, hey, these are our people. This is what we do. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it just is. It's the best.
Yeah, and you learned this lingo, David, like shit ass and snag, right? It's just a different world, man. It's cool.
I am a sucker. Like when a procedural gets really deep into cop talk, right? They're like, you know, like wits. They say things like witsec and stuff. I felt similarly with the reservation. Like I could just speak. I would be at home there. I'd call everybody a shit ass and eat some fried bread. It'd be great.
And as soon as you walk on, they're like, this guy is way too white for this place. This is so white.
Can we talk about the Kirk Fox character?
Kirk Fox is so good. Because it never comes out that like he is Native American. We don't know, but he thinks he is, and that's what matters most. I think.
Pretty sure that he's like, not. He's just like a poser. You know what I mean?
He's just a poser.
It's the best.
And you know what's kind of cool is that every person in it, and they could have written this as like every person was, you know, just this. Every person has one little thing that makes them different. Even the elders, it's this one little thing that makes them different. And that characterization and the way they write it and the way they act it and the way they casted it, it's just kind of magical, man. It really is.
Different and then part of the community, right? The show, I mean, they got Core, that's a show about community and how like they're all like all of those pieces are what makes the tapestry. I know I'm over talking, but it's just so. It's incredibly well woven together. So much fun.
I could talk about this show forever.
Me too.
And I just need you to watch it, David, because you'll be brought in. And I even think if you started it over with Michelle, she would.
I think I'd start the first episode again because it's been so long. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, you should just to watch Willie Jack. I think like I can watch I hope she gets her own spinoff.
Talk about an arc. That little girl, and like she is a bona fide star.
Comedic timing that's unparalleled. Again, first time actress. She just gets incredible. I just
spot on. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Sterling Harjo does next.
Scott Welsh, the IHS conference episode, so spot on. Yeah, it's just awesome. All right, Deez, before we let you go, one thought so far. You've only watched one episode of Gen V. I have. David has seen 4 of them.
Oh, you've seen 4.
He had the screeners because he's a big deal.
Good man. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with us,
Yeah,
normies.
yeah.
Just initial thoughts, and then I got one more question for you. Initial thoughts on Gen V first episode.
I did not have high hopes until I saw the reviews, and then I think my hopes got a little overinflated. Like to me, again, it's one episode, so again, truncated look, but I thought it was a little bit derivative, right? Like we see the I don't want to wreck too much, but like this idea of a normie who becomes a soup about through trauma, and then it goes in eyes wide open, and then learns at core there's a heart of darkness that is void. Like I hope that it takes some chances. I think the thing that the tightrope that it walks, I think is really interesting, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. I mean, it's dealing with some heady stuff, like the idea that the main protagonist, her powers stem from cutting herself. Her roommate comes from like a bulimia, a side effect. Like it is a tightrope that I feel like if it's not handled incredibly well, doesn't go well for them. Like, and I love that people are taking this type of swing and want to talk about those things. It is a bold place to go for it.
Well, the thing about the boys and the thing about this show too, like they don't care. There was no punch not pulled.
So yes, but it's different when it's with kids. See, the thing about that, and also was different for me with Gen Z, which is I think really interesting. And it took me an hour after I finished the episode last night. The interesting thing about Gen V for me is your POV character is not a soup. At least it starts that way with Jack Quaid, and eventually get into Starlight. But your POV character is somebody who is like, what is it like to live as a normie in a world where there are soups? And that to me is fascinating. That to me is way more interesting than what's it like to be a soup, because I feel like that's explored all of the time. So for me, this is a little bit different. Our entrance was like with a soup. So I don't know. I agree. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. I can't wait to see what they do. Yeah, zero. So David, are you hot on it after three more than we've seen? Like, where are you with it?
Well, I mean, overall, I just enjoy it. It's hard to say with the boys, but I enjoy it. Josh, you were talking about how with The Walking Dead, you were getting a little burned out. And I said, Josh, maybe come over and watch The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon over there in Paris. I'm enjoying it because it's a different take. It's a step back. It's a bit of fresh air from what we had for the first with Walking Dead, 11 years with the boys, 3 or 4 years now. I really like it so far. I have the names here. I just want to make sure I don't forget anybody's name. I really like Liz Broadway. She plays the bulimic, who has to, defecate to go big or to eat to go small, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I love Jazz St. Clair. It has for Avatar: The Last Airbender fans, she kind of has a blood bending type ability, which is really cool. I love the kids, and they're all different. And you get to see some of the hierarchies. I mean, yes, there's some over the top party sequence. I mean, all this stuff that you can imagine. The boys, it's over the top all the time. But I think with Eric Kripke, who's a showrunner, not for this show, but he's a showrunner for The Boys, he's so good at balancing the absurd, but also doesn't forget that the characters are the most important part of the story. It's not about exploding penises. I mean, that's cool that we see that, but it's about the characters and what they're going through. And I think that's what I think this even Gen V
that
also
first
does
episode
really well.
Does have a lot of dinger in it, though.
There's a ton of dong.
It's like so much dong. It's like
can you have too much dong? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's that's Amanda came in. She's like, "What is this?" In the scene where the girls on the little girl, that's when she walked in. She's like, "What do you watch?" I was like, "I don't know. I
can't answer for this."
Wait, that's not something to watch on a plane. Don't watch it on the plane.
Don't watch it on the plane.
Don't watch it on a plane. No.
Speaking of Walking Dead, I watched one of the second episode. Do you remember where they all descend on Rick's horse and pull the horse apart? And I was sitting next to like a 6-year-old, and he was watching my iPad. I'm like, "Oh God, no! I'm so sorry." Yeah. Who was that? Let me ask you this. Who's the actor that who was hitting on the girl in the bar that caused the accident? I don't want to wreck too much, but he said his dad works for Vought. He had the little bird that went into the girl's neck. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the actors, but
just what a performance.
Oh, I'm blanking.
He said, I don't want to get caught up in the 7 because I don't want to work with my dad. And I was wondering if you think that's Carlos Esposito. Is that who we're going?
No, I think it might be.
I don't want to say. I know who you're talking about. The actor is. I don't know.
Thank you for looking that up.
I know who you're talking about, though. I know you're talking about.
I just, what a performance. I was like, I hope this guy is like, gets a lot of time going forward. Cause I was riveted. I was like very into everything that dude was doing.
It's Malcolm, show, right? Man. Is it Ty Barnett? He's plays Malcolm.
I think that's right. He got the hug right before, whatever. I don't want to.
I think. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited about it. The cast is great.
All right, our last 10 minutes here, Deez. We're going to talk about TV dads. So before we let you go, who's your favorite TV dad of all time?
It's got to be Homer Simpson. Is that a question?
Okay. I know. I think.
I think that's right. I think it's Homer. I'll go with Homer.
Spoiler alert, Patrick. He is on my list. Homer is on my list.
All right, let's go.
Spoiler, yes.
Dave's got great taste.
Patrick Deez, everybody.
Thanks guys, for having me. Good to see you, buddy.
Bye, good seeing you.
Bye, buddy. I think I'm in on Gen V. I think I'm in on it.
Well, I thought you might, because again, I know you were saying you were getting a little bit, maybe a little tired of the boys' side of things. It's like, this is a little refresher. It deals with that stuff, but it's its own show, which I really appreciate. Yeah.
Okay. Patrick D says Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil is definitely on my list. He's a classic.
Yes.
Jonathan Peck, Hank Hill from King of the. Damn it, Bobby. He's definitely. A lot of Danny Tanner love. That's everybody calls Danny Tanner the best TV dad. I don't even put him on my list.
Is that Home Improvement? Who's Danny Tanner?
Danny Tanner's Full House. Full House.
See, I watched episodes here and there, but I don't know.
Okay. Let's just go back and forth. You have 10. Yes. How many did you put in there? 10?
I put 10.
Okay. All right. Let's start with your 10. Let's just go. We got 8 minutes. Let's go back and forth. We know who they are. Let's have some fun. Then we can read some from the chat.
Let's go number 10 first.
Yeah, go number 10.
Okay, I have very old show. I used to watch a lot of old shows with my mom, so I'm going Andy Griffith from the Andy Griffith Show.
Okay.
Guy was a dad. He had a kid, and he was a single dad. No, his wife wasn't with him. I can't remember if she had passed. I don't think there were like no scandal or anything back in those days. But Andy Griffith raising Opie was his kid, wasn't it? Wasn't Ron Howard? Ron Howard was his son in the show, and that was one. I remember watching that show as a kid with my mom. And I was like, that's a good dad. He's a cop. He's a cop. He's a dad. And he's a single dad raising a young boy. I mean, that's not easy. That's
very ahead of its time. Very ahead of its time.
It's not easy. Sorry, that's a very old. Okay. That was before I was even born, but I really like Andy Griffith.
Josh Shrivastava, Hal from Bryan Cranston, Mark in the Middle, Michael Bluth. That's a great call. Kate Van D. Ray Donovan's dad from Grumpy Shaman. That's wrong. That's John Voight.
Oh, no. He's bad.
He's a terrible dad. But
I mean, great character, great performance from John Voight. But
great. What I want to put in here, Martin Crane, Fraser Crane's dad, Sulks Yard 1999. Very funny. Okay, my number 10. He was a trouble father that really tried his best. His daughter didn't end up in the mob, but his son might. Tony Soprano is my number 10 dad in there. Tony Soprano.
Josh, that's my number 9. Tony's my number 9.
Oh, nice.
My number 9, very close. Yeah, we're in sync. 9. We're in sync.
Okay, all right.
Wasn't a great dad, but he loved his family, and he would die for his family. But
Correct. One of my favorite scenes in The Sopranos, and it's so underrated. They go out to dinner, and it's like Meadow and him, and I think AJ and Meadow's boyfriend. And Meadow's boyfriend gets up and he pays the bill. And Tony's like, that you don't do that to Tony Soprano. You don't pay the bill. You don't pay the bill for the boss. The boss takes care of it. Okay. All right. My number 9, you wouldn't see this one coming, but I thought in light of what was going on at the time, number 9, Kevin Garvey, The Leftovers, played by Justin Theroux. It's a wild time to be a dad. After the snap or whatever we're calling that, what happened? I forget what they called it in The Leftovers. What happened?
Was it like the incident
or something? Can somebody remind me? We're getting some Peter Griffins in there. Not Rick Samoris. Big hint. Succession. I wouldn't put Logan Roy. I wouldn't put Roy. Neither is a very good father.
Not good. No, not good dads. No.
But Yash Shrivastava with a crazy suggestion in here. Matthew Reese in The Americans. Now his name is Philip in The Americans. David, I wouldn't put him in the best category. He's a Russian spy that's trying his best to raise good kids, but at the end of the day, Philip Jennings is his name. I don't put him in best dads. I put him in a dad that was on TV. Wait, good. Bob from Bob's Burger. Al Bundy from Married with Children. All right, who you got next, David? Number 8.
8. We're going Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Also,
Well
for people who don't know, he's the cop in Die Hard that comes to help out at the end. Yes. He's one of my
comes
favorite
to help
characters.
out in the end.
No, in the middle, in the beginning. That's right. He's in the beginning because he calls the cops and he throws the dead body. Right. Yeah.
Sergeant Al Powell.
Yeah, Al Powell.
David.
Yeah,
Al Powell.
So I'm a big Carl Winslow fan, big Family Matters. Wasn't that ABC? Was that part of TGIF? Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, for
TGIF
sure.
night. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Love that.
I won't take away any of yours. I will build my list around and not taking over yours because I would put Carl Winslow right around that same time. I love Carl Winslow.
Was he on your list, Josh? Was he on?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. My number 8 would be Abe Wiseman, who is Mrs. Maisel's dad in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That is number 8 for me.
That's a good pick.
I just a big fan, and I think Tony Shalhoub as that character had such like a growth throughout the show, didn't stay stagnant, and then when he found out at the end that there's a moment with he and his daughter, and I sobbed, man. The second to last episode of the last episode, man, that got me real good.
My favorite part with him is his whole thing with his grandson going to his school and seeing that he's at the happy table, like being so disappointed was just hilarious. It was one of the best. I love him. Okay, my number 7. We're going Frank Costanza, Jerry Stiller.
Yes, he was my number 6. Let's go.
Oh, we're in sync on this, Josh.
We're in sync. We're in sync.
Yes.
Listen, he might not be a great dad, but he is a protective father. Okay. Yes. The scene where he and Elaine are going to fight in the police station. It's one of the greater. There's a total YouTube video. Go check it out of the bloopers from that episode because Elaine can't hold it together. What you think you're better than me? Frank Costanza, I'm telling you, he might have the best dad non-arc in the history of sitcoms. It's perfect. He's perfect.
Yes.
Name me another dad that invented a holiday that stuck like Festivus.
Right.
Name me
Festivus for the rest of us.
For the rest of us. So good. All right, so he was my number 6, so we can skip my number 6. We'll go to your number 6.
Who's your number 7?
Oh, my number 7 is Randall Pearson, William Hill, and Jack Pearson from This Is Us.
Okay.
Because it's like I'll put all 3 of them in there. Troubled dads with great, arcs and everything in between there. I thought they were all great in that show. And
Josh, we are in sync completely. Jack Pearson from This Is Us is my number 6.
Whoa, look at you. Okay.
And I didn't even finish This Is Us. I didn't even get to the end, but he left a mark on me. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love some Milo Ventimiglia. How do you say his name?
Milo Ventimiglia.
Ventimiglia. Okay, he's Italian.
Okay. So my number 6 was Frank Costanza. Your number 6 was Jack Pearson. So then your number 5.
Eric Taylor, Friday Night Lights, which you just mentioned. Taylor, sorry, that was like all your number. Yeah, sorry.
That's Eric Taylor. 5. Yeah. Eric Taylor. I'm telling you right now, there isn't if you're a football coach and you are trying to balance life, watch Friday Night Lights. Or if you're a coach or you want to coach your kids, anything like that, Eric Taylor is he is in a football crazed town. He's trying to raise kids as a football coach and raise a daughter all in the midst of this whole Eric Taylor. And he's the only coach and or dad in the history of TV that made those terrible gas station sunglasses look cool.
Yes.
He's the only one.
Yes.
Only one ever. 100%.
So Josh, we're good. So we're at 6 o'clock, Josh. We got to go 1 through 4.
Yes. Go.
4 through.
You're number 4.
I have Homer Simpson, The Simpsons.
Okay.
Not the he tries his best. Not the smartest guy, but he's a good dad.
He tries.
Their first game. He kind of chokes Bart. That's not good. Shouldn't be choking your kids, but it's fine.
Nope.
It's fine.
My number 4 is Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. I thought a game changer in the history of television. He didn't have to take in some crazy kid from Philadelphia, his nephew. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And he raised him in the right, he accepted Will for who he was. He accepted him to be the Fresh Prince, and he raised him up. He brought him up. He protected the kid, and he had Carlton and Vivian and Ashley, and he had and he was a judge, and he had to balance it all in Bel Air of all places.
Josh, that scene, I'm sure people know it. It's probably one of the more famous scenes in Fresh Prince of Bel Air when Will's dad comes back.
Why doesn't he love me?
And he's like, why doesn't he love me? He just breaks down, and Phil just big guy comes in, hugs him. Josh, Philip Banks was my number 1.
Wow.
He waited all that. That's like one of the most memorable father parent anything moments from TV is that scene that we just talked about. So 100%. He had to be my number 1. One of the best dads ever.
Wow.
TV dads ever.
So number 3 for you.
Yes. Number 3 is, this is where we're going to kind of go a little different here. We're going Battlestar Galactica, Edward James Olmos as William Adama. Complicated dad, complicated relationship with his kids, but still a good dad. Like, still loved his son, loved his sons, plural. Great character, complicated dad, but a good dad.
My number 3 is Johnny Rose from Schitt's Creek, played by the incomparable Eugene Levy. Just hysterical at every turn and an accepting dad. And, he tried his best. He tried his best, and he had a crazier factual opinion. People are saying Don Draper. Draper was an awful dad. He was terrible.
Great character. Again,
his kids. He didn't even like them. No. Yes. No. Fantastic character, trouble character. I mean, he didn't even know he had kids. He had no idea. You're number 2. You're number 2.
Number 2 is Lord Eddard Ned Stark, Game of Thrones, as my Irish travel guide said. He said that he's like, that's where they filmed them Games of Thrones. It's like Games of Thrones. Yes.
He tried his best, but guess what, David? He got his head chopped off, and the rest of the time, his family was actual toast until they got back together at the end. But I will say, Ned Ard,
not a good dad.
His early dadding did keep them glued. That's what I'm saying. He needed to get the hell. He went too far down. Had he known what was going to happen, he knew it was going to happen. The Lannisters never. Don't. You should
have just stayed up north. You should have stayed up north. Should have stayed.
Yes. My number 2, David, is a lot of people have talked about him lately, and a lot of dads are threatened by him, that he said he's too good of a dad, and that would be Bandit from Bluey. The dad in Bluey, they say he's the best TV dad of all time.
He is. It's like I don't know how you can live up to him. He always has like a fun game to play with the kids and activities. I'm just like, how do you do that every day? Is he a stay-at-home dad? Does he work? I feel like mom goes to work. He doesn't. Does he work?
So the mom works at an airport. She is a dog sniffer, and he's like he digs up bones. He's like like
an archaeologist.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if he had a job.
Yeah. Okay. Stannis Baratheon. Nope, that's not a good dad. Definitely not a good dad.
Neither is boozing.
Yep, neither is Robert Baratheon. Neither, for that matter, is Jaime Lannister. Not a great dad. Not a good. Rick Samoris, no Mr. In Between. Mr. In Between,
show.
Great show, and a great dad, and a really great dad. That show, man, talk about a show that's so underrated. My goodness,
I forgot. That's a good one.
Did we just do our number 1s?
Well, number 1 was Uncle Phil for me.
You did Uncle Phil for you, so I got to do my number 1.
Who's your number 1?
My number 1 is Rick Grimes. Okay, listen, Coral. He was in he had to keep an entire group of people alive against the craziest enemies ever and zombies. And he had to be dad to Carl and a daughter in Judith that may or may not have been his daughter.
He's a good guy. And his wife cheated on him while he was in the hospital with Shane.
I don't know.
No, Rick's a good guy. Yeah.
Yes.
I love Rick. Yeah. Great.
I'll do some really quick. Phil Dunphy from Modern Family is a good, honorable mention. Hank Hill from, like we said, from King of the Hill. Here's a terrible one. Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Awful. How about either Ted Lasso or Leslie Higgins from Ted Lasso? Too good. Good
dad. Good dad.
Yeah. Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he had to come back. He
was a little absent there for a while. Absentee. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. All right, let's do some picks of the week and get out of here before our wives start yelling. Yes. David, your
week. Lots of shows, great shows out there. The Gold is still one of the best dramas on TV right now. I know in the UK you've already seen it, but we're watching it on Paramount Plus. Yep. Excellent. You got the Bills in London. You have Loki on Thursday. You have Our Flag Means Death on Thursday. I know it's like picks of the week plural, but there's a lot of good TV on it. And you have the Ahsoka finale, Josh. That's now. The Ahsoka finale is now.
Oh my God, it's now.
It's episode 8, I think. I think it's the finale.
Cow. Yeah. Here we go. Thanks for all the chats. Thanks to everybody supporting this show. Thanks for watching. We appreciate every single one of you. Is Sex Education, a great series finale, an absolutely fantastic show. It didn't end schmaltzy. I thought it ended kind of well, and how a show about like high school love should end. right? And I think all of the characters had a cool arc, and maybe the last episode was a lot of apologizing, but it you know what? In high school, you say sorry to a lot of people, and I thought it was well written. And if you've never watched it, or you're like, hey, I'm stuck on season 2.
I saw the first season. Yeah.
I say go back and watch it. As like an older guy, it gives me hope that like when my daughter goes to high school, it's not Euphoria. It gives me hope that it's not Euphoria. So thank you all for watching. For David Griffin at Griffin DE, at Josh Macuga. Be kind to everybody unless they're on a weird timeline. Then you're allowed to make fun of them, especially if they're a superhero. Text somebody, call them, tell them you love them. It matters. It's way easier to love than hate. Find the good. Put down the book. Pick up the remote. David, keep talking while I hit like the end banner here. I gotta do the thing, you know what I mean? Where I do the
pick of the week. Yash says is the Continental. I'm sorry, Yash. I still need to watch.
We have not watched it.